I bought a house, a massive, grand mansion that looked like it had once belonged to a family of nobility. The price was shockingly low, almost too good to be true. I should have known then that something was wrong, but in my excitement, I ignored the feeling. All I could see was the dream, a fresh start, my own place, something straight out of a magazine. The sheer size of the place amazed me, rooms that seemed to go on forever, high ceilings with chandeliers and intricate carvings along the walls. It was perfect, or so I thought. At first it was just little things. Cold drafts in rooms where no windows were open, the sound of floorboards creaking as if someone was walking just a few steps behind me, though I was always alone. The noises felt like the usual quirks of an old house. I convinced myself it was nothing more than the natural settling of the building, but deep down, I knew something was off. It started happening at night. I'd wake up drenched in sweat, feeling like someone was standing at the foot of my bed, watching me. It was that eerie sensation of being observed, the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. The house felt different in the dark, heavier, almost suffocating. One night I heard it for the first time, the faint sound of children crying coming from the hallway. It was soft, distant, but unmistakable. I sat up straining to hear, but the sound seemed to vanish the moment I focused on it. I told myself it was a dream, that I must have imagined it. But the next night the crying came again, louder this time. I followed the sound, walking through the dark, narrow hallways until I reached a room I hadn't spent much time in before. As I opened the door, the crying stopped, replaced by an oppressive silence. The room was empty, but the air was heavy, as if it was waiting for something. Days turned into weeks and things only got worse. Each night the crying grew more insistent, louder, as if the children were just outside my door. And then it wasn't just the crying. I started waking up with scratches on my back, deep red marks that stung like fresh wounds. I had no explanation for them. They'd appear overnight, even though my doors and windows were always locked. At first I tried to rationalize it. Maybe I was scratching myself in my sleep, but as the scratches worsened, I couldn't ignore the feeling that something or someone was doing this to me. The house felt alive, filled with a darkness that was slowly consuming me. One night, the crying escalated into full-blown screams. I jolted awake, heart pounding. The house felt colder than ever before, the walls almost pulsating with energy. I raced through the halls, but every time I thought I was getting closer to the source of the cries, the sound would move further away, like the house was playing a sick game with me. The next morning I noticed something new, messages carved into the walls, hidden beneath layers of peeling wallpaper. Leave, you're next. My blood ran cold. The carvings weren't there before. I was sure of it. I had no idea how they appeared, but one thing was certain. They weren't a warning. They were a promise. Desperation began to set in. I tried to leave, to sell the house and escape, but every potential buyer backed out at the last minute. It was as if the house had a grip on me, and no one else wanted to get close. My money was gone. I had no way to afford a new place, no way to escape. The house had taken everything. I was alone, trapped inside this mansion with something I couldn't see but could always feel. Every night the cries grew louder, the whispers became more menacing. I didn't know how much longer I could survive. My once beautiful dream had turned into an inescapable nightmare, and now as I write this, I hear the crying again, but this time it's different, closer, more real. I think they're coming for me.